Alright, this is Vegeta8259 once again, and we are back for part 2 of the SMS/Neograde Kshatriya review. About that last statement I made about SMS/Neograde, the original sculptor of this kit was a company called Neograde from Korea, I believe, and they make really, really nice resin kits. And you've got one right here in front of you, so you know that already. But SMS is actually a company based, okay, I don't know where they're based, but they make recasts where they take the resin kits and then recast them and basically just make copies of them. And the reason why SMS is so good is because they do really, really clean recasts, and every once in a while they'll update the kits they recast and, you know, change things up, add their own little details. For example, on Kshatriya here, the original Neograde version had a giant Zeon symbol right here. Actually, it was actually part of the resin piece. It was molded right there. The SMS version got rid of that and added a Neo Zeon symbol right here, which is the same shape as this one. But since I was going with the original line art, I sanded off the Neo Zeon symbol that was originally on the resin and just used a Neo Zeon decal instead. I just think it looks much cleaner and much more professional. The giant raised Neo Zeon symbol was a little bit too much for me. Another modification I made to this kit, I think I mentioned in the Kshatriya update video I did last week, is their kit originally, in fact, where are those photos? Let's see. Here we go. The kit originally had these big splits down the middle of the binder with this little kind of a zigzag pattern, and I just wasn't too crazy about that, so I filled those in with putty and rescribed some of the panel lines here, so it has a nice, more kind of a solid look to it. And those giant splits weren't on the original line art, which is the reason why I filled it in, because I wanted to make mine look as close to the original as possible. And I believe those are the only modifications I made to the kit. Nothing too serious. Let's rotate him around carefully, as always. I've already had his hip joint come unglued while I was taking photos of him, so I'm trying to be really careful with him now. See, the only real extra accessories that Kshatriya comes with is an extra set of hands, that one of them I just dropped. Basically the same thing, only these are open palms, and can easily be replaced with those since they're just in ball joints. Originally Kshatriya is supposed to have beam sabers, a lot like Sazabi, as you can see right there in his wrist. That little silver thingy right there is a beam saber, and just like Sazabi, it's supposed to slide out when he'll be able to use it, but this kit didn't come with any beam sabers, so I guess I'm just out of luck there. Not too bad, I suppose, though. But anyway, let's get on to these binders. As you can see, they're large. They're almost as tall as Kshatriya himself. I think the only reason Kshatriya is taller is because of these little connectors right here. And he's got 4 of them, and they are very, very heavy. But on the outside, they're pretty nicely detailed. These little white and yellow things right here actually aren't thrusters, they're beam cannons, as well as the 4 on Kshatriya's chest. But the real neat stuff is on the underside. He's got 3 big thrusters right here, and he's got 6 funnels in each binder, giving him a total of 24 funnels to use in battle. And that's pretty much the reason why Kshatriya doesn't have a gun, and why he's so big and bulky and not very agile, because he can just deploy these funnels and let those do all the fighting for him. Sounds like a pretty good idea in my opinion. But if that wasn't enough, he's also got a little secret weapon right here. He's got these little arms that slide out and are on a ball joint, even though they're pretty loose, so they can rotate a little bit. And on the underside, he's got these little posable, movable claws that come out. And he's got one of these on each binder, so he's got 4 extra arms that he can use for small little grasping activities if he needs to, or as a lot of mobile suits with these little extra arms tend to do, use them for beam sabers. Unfortunately, we can't do that with this kit because he doesn't have beam sabers, but what are you going to do? In fact, I don't know. Maybe I'd be willing to sacrifice the beam sabers from one of my other kits to use on Kshatriya, who knows. Alright, so I am going to take a minute and put these binders back on Kshatriya, and then we'll do some size comparisons. Alright, carefully put these back on. I've got to hold his knees in place while I put them on, otherwise he'll topple backwards. I can't really see where the peg is on this one. Uh-oh. His knee armor just came off. Hopefully it'll stay in place for the rest of the review. Alright, stay. Don't move. Feel like I'm talking to my dog. Alright, size comparison time. First off, to give you a sense of how big he is, actually let's put him over here. Here is Sazabi, Kshatriya next to Unicorn Gundam. Now Unicorn Gundam is not a small mobile suit. He's bigger than the RX-78, even in his normal mode, and look how Kshatriya just towers over him. I mean, this guy is absolutely massive. Now, granted, in destroy mode, Unicorn Gundam is going to be a little bit bigger, but Kshatriya is easily 3 times as massive as the Unicorn. Next up, we've got Kshatriya's partner in crime, Sinanju. And obviously Sinanju's a bit taller. Sinanju's about the same height as Sazabi, so he's a little bit closer to Kshatriya, although he doesn't come anywhere near as tall as Kshatriya is. So yeah, definitely the biggest 1/100 scale kit I have so far. And I actually haven't compared him to any of my 1/60 scale kits yet. I'm pretty sure 1/60 scale would be a little bit bigger than Kshatriya, at least height-wise anyway. And what size comparison would be complete without comparing him to the original RX-78? And Gundam looks pretty much like a 1/144 scale compared to Kshatriya. So, it took a long time, but this is definitely one of the most fun and challenging and frankly satisfying kits that I've ever done. Yesterday when I finished him finally, I just had to sit down and take a breather and just sit there and admire him for a good 15 minutes, because this has definitely been a trip, and I'm really pleased with this kit. So if you're thinking of, oh, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend this to somebody starting out with resin, but if you've got some resin experience, you know, you've done a couple conversion kits, This is definitely one that you might want to pick up because he's awesome. I mean, look at him. Definitely one of the best designs from Unicorn, even though I think all the designs from Unicorn are good. Just a really, really nice kit. But if you're not really sure about resin, or if you prefer 1 to 144 scales, don't worry. Come October, I believe, Bandai will hook you up with a high-grade Universal Century Kshatriya. And it'll be smaller and lighter, but I actually think I like this one better based on what I've seen from the prototypes Bandai's shown of its high-grade Kshatriya. And I guess that's it for this review, and I will see you guys next time.